Up next on End of the Day Beer Review, we're going to be looking at Edmund Fitzgerald Porter by Great Lakes Brewing Company, coming in at 6% ABV. Check it out. Hi everybody, it's Rich and welcome to End of the Day Beer Review. And today, going to be looking at something that Fred gave me. This is Edmund Fitzgerald Porter by Great Lakes Brewing Company, coming in at 6% exactly ABV, 37 IBU. Great Lakes Brewing Company is independent and employee owned, and it said that this is a robust and complex. Our porter is a bittersweet tribute to the legendary freighter's fallen crew, taken too soon when the gales of November came early. And this is Best By. I guess that's a Best By date. It says 5/7/24. So the story of the Edmund Fitzgerald is it was a freighter on, I want to say, Lake Superior, and it got caught up in a storm and it sunk, and it took the entire crew with it. They did find it. I've actually seen videos on YouTube of the wreck at the bottom of the lake. And this is a porter in honor of those men who lost their life on that boat. So let's crack this open. Right off the bat, I'm not getting any sort of aroma. And this is a porter, and you know, I often have a hard time when I see the dark beers. I go with the stout glass. There's just a little bit of water in the stout glass, but nothing significant. So let's see what the pour is like here. Oh, wow. Well, gonna have to live with it. Sorry, folks. A little water in the glass. So this pours a very nice dark brown color. Almost chestnut, I would say. Some good carbonation on it. I'm going to pour it a little harder. Yeah, carbonation's a little bit more robust than I expected. About a pinky's worth of light khaki head. Nothing major as far as legs, but there is some lacing on the glass left over. I guess there's some legs. Now, you know, we've just gone through our Goose Island, craziness for Black Friday and the pre-reviews before it came out, and I was really happy to get involved with that. Glad to pick up some new subscribers. If you're new here, welcome. And today we're going to look at something a little more standard. Now, I am going to be doing the Eagle Rare review probably for Friday's video, but I want to give it a little bit of time. I want to take a little break from the bourbon counties and go back to something a little bit more standard beer. And at 6%, this is really sort of light ABV for what I like. Let's check the nose. I'm getting a lot of coffee, a lot of chocolate, sort of the dark chocolate aroma. But there's also a little bit of sweetness there. I don't know what it is, but it's mostly the roast that I associate with sort of the darker beers and the coffee and everything like that. There's definitely some sort of sweetness there. I just don't know what that sweetness is. You know, most important thing with all these beers, what does it taste like? Oh, that's very nice. Okay, so there's an intense bitterness on the back of the tongue, but not an IPA bitterness. Sort of that muted, mellow bitterness you get from a good stout or a good porter. Front end of the tongue, I'm getting quite a bit of chocolate note, actually. And like I said, sort of dark chocolate, not that sort of light, milk chocolate. This is definitely like a bitter chocolate, a bittersweet type of chocolate, dark chocolate, if you will. There's also a good amount of carbonation, as I just demonstrated. Sorry about that. There's that roastiness that I associate with a good cup of coffee. A little bit of that bitterness on the back end, but there's a hint of sweetness and smokiness to this. It's almost like a burnt sugary flavor, very muted, very in the background, but it's sort of like, I don't know, almost like that skin you get on a marshmallow once you've put it in the fire a little bit too long when you're making s'mores. That's sort of what's here as well. So it's sweet, but it's a bitter sweetness that's there. It's sort of, you know, like a burnt sweetness. considering how complex this is and how much bitterness is, this is remarkably easy to drink. The mouthfeel, it's not syrupy. It doesn't have a great deal of, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have a great deal of viscosity. I mean, the flavor definitely coats your mouth, but most of that flavor, for me at least, is living on the back of my tongue. And it's really nice, roasty, sort of bitter chocolate, sort of burnt sugary flavor. And it's not sweet. It's all of the sort of darker components, the not sweet components of everything that I just named. So this is really, really solid. And you know, I almost want to say that there's a lot of carbonation here, but there's not. There's enough carbonation to bring the flavor out, and as it's going down your throat, that carbonation is sort of causing it to burst through your sinuses, and you're getting that sort of really, really intense flavor that's here. This is very good. Yeah, that's very nice. No alcohol burn, no alcohol taste. You know, for a 6%er, which, I mean, by my standards, that's pretty light. This is really nice. I could see having this with a nice burger, nice steak, something like that. It'd be a nice way to cut sort of like a sweeter dish as well. You know, something like heavy with like a sweet barbecue sauce. This would be a nice sort of way to offset that. So this is very good. I'm very, very pleased with this. And again, I want to thank Fred, who is not a sponsor, but he does throw some really, really interesting beer at me from time to time. And this is one of those. So once again, this is Edmund Fitzgerald Porter by Great Lakes Brewing Company. And it says bottled by Great Lakes Brewing Company in Cleveland, Ohio. So this is actually an Ohio beer, I guess. I think that might be the first one I've had of theirs. And I mean, it says that it's good till 5/7/24, which probably means it was probably bottled about 5/27 of 23. So this is reasonably fresh for a darker beer. But this is really, really good. The art on that bottle is pretty intense too. It's the Edmund Fitzgerald struggling through the storm that would eventually destroy the ship. So would I get this again? I definitely would. You know, I'd get it again. I'd share it with people. This is a very good, very approachable porter. It has some, you know, good roastiness to it, some good chocolate flavor, some good coffee flavor. I'm just now getting a little burn in my stomach, so you are getting a little bit of the alcohol, but I mean, I've drunk probably a good 1.5 inches of this glass. So, you know, I mean, it's not overwhelming. At 6%, it's still one of those beers you have to watch out for because quite honestly, you cannot taste the alcohol in this. But it is very, very solid beer. So to go back to that, would I get this again? Absolutely. If I saw it out there, I'd buy a 6 of this. This is pretty solid. Anyway, folks, I'd like to thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, hit that like button, comment. If you've had something else by Great Lakes Brewing Company, I'd love to hear about it. Is there something else I should look for from this particular company? Because they're Edmund Fitzgerald Stout. I'm sorry, Edmund Fitzgerald Porter. Sorry, I've got stouts on the brain with all of the Goose Island shenanigans lately. Is excellent. Definitely something I would look into if it's available around you. Talking to you people out in Ohio, you might want to pick this up and give it a try. Anyway, folks, have a good night. I'm going to sit back and finish this. Cheers.